this vlog isn't going as I had planned. So I think because I didn't do like any reading while we were on vacation, I hardly even vlogged at all. I was just going to extend it into the week after, which is essentially the last full week of February. And basically, as soon as we got home, we knew something was wrong with our dog. So we've been having to take care of him for most of the week. It is now like towards the end of the week is actually my Friday, so it's actually Thursday. And then not only trying to take care of our dog who has possibly some kind of back issue and like can hardly move. So that's been stressful, but not only that, there was a winter storm here. So where I live in California, we don't get very much, I want to say weather. It is usually gray here. We stick between the low 50s and high 60s, and that's pretty much how it is all year. There will be occasionally, like in the high point of summer, that we start getting into the 70s, and at that point it's like too hot here because it's muggy. And sometimes in winter it'll go into the 40s and 30 low 40s. This year, it's been real weird because we've been dipping into the 30s, and particularly right now we have a winter storm, which has led to an inch of snow or more for a lot of these places here on the coast. This doesn't happen normally, so for those of you going, it's just an inch of snow. It's no big deal because you get it every other week in winter. We don't. This is like the third time in my life that I've seen it snow here. And I would have to say that the first time I wouldn't even really consider snow, it was glorified hail. The second time it didn't last the night. This time it started snowing. You saw clips of that. It started snowing yesterday. It kept overnight. And so people are having to drive in it in the morning. Because we don't deal with snow very often, no one knows how to drive in it, including myself. So my partner drove me to work. That's where we are now. This is my little area. Yeah, so with that update out of the way, I have started reading again. I am currently reading How to Sell a Haunted House. I started reading this just before we left for vacation and had to pause it because it was stirring up some emotions. I found that with Grady Hendrix's work, he finds a sore spot I didn't know I had and decides to dig his finger into it. With the book Club's Guide to Killing Vampires, I had mixed feelings after reading that, and ultimately just didn't like the feeling it gave me of like disgust and just like overall uncomfortableness. So I actually think a coworker ended up taking it off my hands. And after I told them how I felt about it, they, I think, are putting it on pause as well. But How to Sell a Haunted House sounded really interesting, mostly because I'm getting a little more into haunted house stories. So if you haven't heard about it, How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix, we're following two siblings. Their parents just died. And basically they are having to figure out how to sell their house, but first they have to deal with everything that's inside, including their mom's puppet collection and her collection of dolls. However, as they're cleaning, they are noticing that things are moving and they keep thinking the other siblings doing it. The house does not want to be sold, ultimately. Like I said, it stirred up some emotions. The sibling dynamic is really interesting and complex, which I understand and I enjoy, but at the same time, it's really frustrating because of the sibling dynamic as well as the siblings, both of their different relationships with their parents, as well as the miscommunication between all of them. I'm typically one that does not like miscommunication, and I'm trying. But like it's typically with romances. When it comes to family dynamics, I'm trying to be more understandable because I get it. Families miscommunicate all the time. We take meetings the wrong way. But yeah, the sibling dynamic in particular, I thought was really frustrating in terms of the daughter having to basically feeling like she has to be independent, that she has to be able to work for what she gets, because she always felt like her brother got everything handed to him. Um, and how the brother feels like he's owed everything, and that no one respects him, and that he's always getting shorthanded. So, and then of course the parents almost picking sides in terms of the father agreeing with the daughter, and the mother agreeing with the son. So it's figuring all that out, and like the mother constantly making excuses for the son. So it's that aspect that really ticked me off, and actually it put me in a mood, and so I didn't want that type of move on vacation, so I paused it thinking I was going to go into Love in the Time of Serial Killers. However, like I said, on vacation I didn't read anything, so yeah, so I started that back up again. I'm at just over 50%. And I'm still going through The Last Graduate by Naomi Novik. This is the second book in the Scholomance series. And I have to say, I'm like I feel like about to DNF it, because it is such a slog to get through this. And I don't mean it in terms of, I was trying to be nice in terms of like, I don't mean it in terms of I'm not interested, but it's getting to that point where, so with the first book in a fantasy series, we kind of expect a lot of detail, and a lot of explanation, because it's the first book. We are learning a new magic system. We are learning the environment, particularly the school that is essentially self-sustaining. We're getting a lot of detail, and we are in the main character's head a lot and getting her narration. I expected that in the first one. I enjoyed it. I heard complaints after reading the first one that a lot of people just thought it was really slow. I personally had really enjoyed it, but then going to the second one, I was kind of expecting the pace to pick up, and it didn't at all. It's still very heavily detailed. We are getting still a lot of explanations, and we are very much still in the main character's head, and it's a slog to get through. So with that one, I'm about in the same place of just a little over halfway through. But I haven't picked it up in a couple weeks, and I am having a hard time wanting to pick it up. So we'll see how that goes. I did bring it with me today, because that's why I'm filming in my area at work. I'm the first one here. I'm like an hour early, because my partner drove me to work because of the snow on the ground. We'll see how this vlog goes. I'm not excited with having to edit this, so, but yeah. So I've been particularly shit at vlogging recently. It's been a week. So not only did we get back from vacation, and then Goose had his injury. He is doing better now. But I'm realizing some things. One, I think I'm gonna DNF The Last Graduate. I have no motivation to pick it up. I don't know if it's going to be a permanent DNF or just a pause for right now, or a soft DNF. I just don't feel like picking it up. It's taking too long. So we'll see how I feel. Sorry, I'm looking for crackers. I just made myself some tuna. So, and I don't think I've ever had them with wheat thins before. Sorry, I'm hungry. I didn't have breakfast this morning. Wheat thins aren't really the ones to do Ritz. I think we have some Ritz too. Anyway, I think I'm gonna DNF the last graduate, then pick something else up. I've been eyeing hide and seeker, which I may just pick up because it's a middle grade. It's like, I don't know, I'll probably just pick it up, we'll see. I did pick up, since we last talked, Oaksy. As you saw, I don't think I updated you on that. Hold on, let me just figure this out and I'll update you here in a bit. Okay, so I don't know if I updated you on Oaksy. If I did, apologies. Here's a quick recap. Finish this graphic novel featuring Finnish folklore. Darker than I expected it to be, in all honesty. Really cute, sketchy, fluid artwork. Really enjoyed it. Definitely darker than I expected. Sad, very sad. And then I actually just finished today the first volume of Low. Had more to it than I expected. So, Low, we are following. Yeah, this is just a synopsis of that I'm sure I read. In the far distant future, the sun's premature expansion has irradiated Earth, sending humanity to the lowest depths of the seas, hidden within radiation-shielded cities, while probes scour the universe for inhabitable worlds. After tens of thousands of years, a single probe returns, crashing to Earth's surface, a now alien place no human has seen for millennia. Now still, Kane and her husband Joel, the last helmsman of the once great city of Salus, must rise from the depths of mankind's despair and journey to the surface in search of salvation. I feel like that synopsis is almost misleading. We are mostly following Stell. The artwork is interesting. I don't mind it. I was kind of hoping for more of what was on the cover. I mean, I guess it's kind of like that. It has this like element of sketchy nature to it, but it's almost so detailed on every page, it's a little distracting. But at the same time, like not all the details connect with one another, so also very distracting. I'm sorry, my arm is already tired. But what I Okay, this is a terrible angle. Oh my goodness. Okay, terrible angle, and I don't know how well this is going to work because I have some Bluetooth headphones in, but just wanted to update you. I did finish How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. I think I'm giving this a 5 out of 5 stars. There were so many. I have so many feelings about this. What I really enjoyed was the complexity of the sibling dynamic. It was something I related to. Despite the feelings it gave me. Sorry, I'm walking. It was complex. The book itself, as well as the overall haunting, which I really enjoyed, and ultimately, it was spooky. It really did scare me. So that was exciting. I'm gonna go now because I'm going into the depot. Okay, still not a great angle, but I have my bagel now. So I'm still hoping this works. I only have one earbud in now, but yeah, How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. Definitely scarier than I expected. Fucking anything scary with dolls and puppets. So good one there. More complex than I expected it to be. I think there was this definitely like complex sibling relationship that I like stressed me out, but I also enjoyed the complexity of it. Mostly because there's all these tropes of siblings getting along perfectly and being so close connected, and that just wasn't as much of a thing with my family. I don't think it was purposeful. It just, it happens. So there's like this weird guilt occasionally with that happening. Sorry, I'm noticing a bunch of worms on the ground. There's this weird, odd guilt of just like, oh, my brothers and I weren't as close as I was like, maybe we should be, or we don't have all these like secret languages or secret handshakes or are that close. So there was this guilt of like, I should have done better. So when it's a complex relationship like that in How to Sell a Haunted House, it made it a bit more realistic and didn't put that guilt on me, if that makes sense. But it was also the complex relationship between the siblings as well as the parents of like this. I don't know. It was just something I appreciated. It felt more real to me, despite it being paranormal. So, out of the rain. Yeah, so like I said, I think 5 stars. I'm going to have to get the physical book now. Hoping I can find it on Pango, but we'll see about that. So now I have started Love in the Time of Serial Killers, and I'm about just over a quarter of the way through, and so far I'm enjoying it. She seems pretty judgy off the bat. It doesn't help too that because I'm listening to it on like 1.75 speed, that it's kind of like amping her. I don't want to say hyperactive. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know how to feel about it yet. So that's my update for now. Okay, the last day of February, I have 2 books I would like to finish, and then that would make my total for the month 8 books. Love in the Time of Serial Killers, I have I'm at 38%. I'm pretty sure I can finish it today during work. Let's see. And then the other one I'm listening to, or not listening to, but reading, is Hide and Seeker by Daka I can't think of the last name, and I'm about 20, not quite 20% of the way through that. I got that done mostly last night, so I'm wondering if I like actually take my breaks today and step away from my desk, that I can actually get some reading done and maybe complete that today. It's going to be a stretch, but I'm pretty sure I can because it's actually a relatively easy read. It is creepy so far, but and already with Love and the Time of Serial Killers, well, not already, but like she's pining over her neighbor, um, and it's, but like I don't know, it's super odd to me when like all he did was compliment her hair and she immediately thought like, oh, my nipples are tight against my bra, and I'm like, oh, what? Okay, so that's my update for now. Okay, it's the end of the workday. I have not finished Love and the Time of Serial Killers. I'm about 78% of the way through. I'm pretty sure I can bust this out when I'm doing dinner tonight. And then I am about 48% supposedly of the way through Hide and Seeker. In terms of Love and the Time of Serial Killers, I was being iffy about it in the beginning because I thought it was kind of a typical romance, and that our main character Phoebe seemed a little judgy of everyone. And it didn't help for some reason that the fact that I was listening to the narration on 1.75 speed made me think that she was a little too rambunctious in her cynicism, and really it was just because it was on 1.75 speed. So, but now that it's kind of later in the book, I'm liking a bit more. I'm connecting with Phoebe a bit more, who is a fat character. I was trying that word out. I personally still don't like it because it is a word that was used as an insult in my household. And I know that I'm trying to make it positive and everything, but there's some stuff I need to work on. I still don't like it. Plus size, thank you. But she is a plus size character. She gets her clothes from Torrid. I can relate. He's shopping at regular stores. I can relate. Has a hard time, particularly with blazers, because some women actually have boobs, and I can relate. So that was nice. I also appreciated the dynamic between her and her reconnection with Allison, her childhood best friend. I really enjoyed. Yeah, and for a bit at the beginning too, I was just kind of rolling my eyes, kind of almost comparing this author, who I can't remember who the author is, sorry, to Ernest Cline, in that it seemed like they just wanted to spill all their knowledge on true crime in a way and just create this story that was more, yeah, anyway. But it's a little more in depth than that, and I also enjoy Phoebe's relationship with her brother. It's a different dynamic than How to Sell a Haunted House, with I can't remember the main character's name in How to Sell a Haunted House. I know the brother's name is Mark, and in this one I remember that the main character is Phoebe, but I can't remember her brother's name. But they're both interesting and dynamic in terms of how their sibling relationship is, and I can appreciate that, the uniqueness of both of them. It's always not always perfect with Phoebe and her brother. I think it's Carlton, but I'm not entirely sure. That sounds not right. But it's sweet in a way because it, like, both the dynamics are so completely different. But at the same time, I can relate to both of them as being a sibling myself, and the relationship I had with my brothers as well as my sister. So yeah. Oh, it's interesting. Hide and Seeker still, it's interesting-ish. I mean, it's keeping my attention, but it's a pretty easy read, so I think I'm just gonna blow through it, but I don't know how I'm gonna read it just yet. So that was the other thing with Love in the Time of Serial Killers, is that the amount of pop culture references is ridiculous, in my opinion. Some of them I get, others I don't. So, and they're usually hit or miss, but this one's a lot. So, but yeah, that's my update for now. Hopefully I can update you when I'm done with both of them.